Hello and welcome to Retro 500, where I take a look at a retro game in 500 words. Give or take 10%. Let's go. How do you follow up one of the best action platformers of the generation? A game with excellent graphics, a phenomenal soundtrack, and a tough but fair challenge. If your name is Konami in 1994, the answer is you don't. Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2 doesn't live up to the standards set by its predecessor, but does that make it a bad game? The plot is a near carbon copy of the original, except this time, instead of pigs, the bad guys are lizards. Even Axel Gear is back, kidnapping princesses and being a general knob. Sparkster's jetpack now charges quickly and automatically, allowing you to chain rocket boosts together for better aerial combat. The previously overpowered sword has sadly been downgraded to a slow and clunky slash, making the rocket boost your main method of attack. Although the gameplay itself feels faster, the same can't be said for the game's pacing. The first stage alone goes on forever, consisting of an auto-scroller segment and multiple mini-bosses, one of which can take a while to beat as it's down to chance whether its weak points line up in your favour. When you die, you're sent back to the beginning of the current sub-level, regardless of how big the area may be. This can be infuriating during the game's multiple auto-scrollers, or the security room later in the game, filled with death traps and mini-bosses. In one instance, the checkpoint system is intentionally bullshit. The last stage consists of an unpredictable fight with Axel, followed by a final boss with two very long phases. If you lose a life, you're plonked back at the Axel fight, making it clear that this was intended to be a gauntlet. You bastards. Despite the game's more vibrant colour palette, it lacks the same level of care and detail as the first entry. The graphics often feel lazy and repetitive, like these physics-defying floating barrels at the end of the first level. Stage 4 contains one of the worst graphical faux pas I've ever seen. Why does the background keep moving? This stuck out to me like a sore thumb, even when I was an idiot child, and it's completely unacceptable considering the first game did this right. The soundtrack has more of an electronic feel to it this time, and that may be down to the involvement of Akira Yamaoka, who you may know from the smash hit Silent Hill Homecoming. I love the music in Stage 5. As well as the sense of danger that the boss theme gives. I think the soundtrack, while different to the original, stands on its own. Sparkster isn't a bad game. In fact, it's a pretty decent game, whose biggest crime is not being as good as the first one, feeling more like a corporate contractual obligation than a passion project. It was the first game in the series I played, so it'll always have a special place in my heart, despite its shortcomings. And I much prefer it over the twitchy and unbalanced Super Nintendo spin-off that contains zero lizards, or, you could say, suffers from erectile dysfunction. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Retro 500. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider doing us a like, maybe even a subscribe, and you can touch my bell, should you wish. If there's anything that you feel that I missed, let me know down in the comments. But until next time, take care and goodbye.